Well, thank you, Warren. I appreciate that, and we have known each other quite a few years, and I'm always happy to be back on the reservation and looking for opportunities for investment. And I'm a little different than some of the other presenters that were up here. I'm an old farm boy, and I grew a garden this year, and I had one of those situations where I could have done dumping. I actually did dumping in the cars of my friends with zucchini and cooked squash and tomatoes, and so I actually grew a pretty successful garden. But today I wanted to talk to you just briefly. First, I want to thank you for coming and participating today, taking the time out. I know it gets to be a long day, and there's lots of information that you have to glean from this. And so I'm not going to stand up here and bore you with the fine details of the APUC program. But I will tell you, I'll start off by this. The Agricultural Products Utilization Commission is the last program in the state of North Dakota that does what we do. We grant money to projects, whether it be farm diversification, prototype development, or nature-based agritourism. We grant money, and we do it in the early stages in the hopes that businesses will expand and continue and grow from it. What is APUC? APUC is a granting agency within the Department of Commerce, and our mission is to create new wealth and jobs and development and new and expanded resources. And basically what we do is we look for people that are adding value to North Dakota agricultural products. That is, you have to be a North Dakota individual, a North Dakota company, and you have to be adding value to a North Dakota agricultural product. Our definition of, just so you know, our definition of agricultural products used to be they had to be tracked by the North Dakota Ag Foundation. That is no longer what we consider an agricultural product because times have changed. Right now we have projects in probably the closest one would be Carrington area. We have people planting berry bushes. We've done gardens. We've a variety of different businesses that we now classify as an agricultural product. Now we can classify an agricultural product something that is grown here, produced here, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is widely recognized, like a cereal grain or something like that. We have lots of Juneberry producers in the state, just a large variety of different things that we consider agricultural products. I'm sorry I went through that slide. The commission is actually made up of 9 members, and 5 members are appointed by the governor, 2 by the Ag Commissioner, an NDSU representative, and an EDMF representative. We have 7 different grant types within APUC, and today I'm going to go just an overview of these particular programs. If you have specific questions on them, you can call me, contact my office. I have some handouts I forgot to hand out on the back there. They have my business cards and brochures and everything in it. By far the most popular and most utilized grant in our program is the Marketing and Utilization Grant. That is for business plans, feasibility studies, basically a lot of the market plans, a lot of that startup costs that banks don't want to finance that are hard kind of sells. And so it's a way to get some seed capital or seed money into your project early on to help kind of expedite the process. We also, within the marketing grant, have a international marketing, which is probably getting way beyond what we're doing here. But if you know of companies or you have companies that you think could utilize this, they're adding value to North Dakota agricultural product. This is a program that can help with business plans, feasibility studies, and marketing those also, going in and marketing and actually utilizing the project. There's basic and applied research, there's farm diversification grant. Farm diversification grant is also another grant that probably could be tied into the agritourism theme today. We have a lot of businesses that start up with a farm diversification grant and end up being some major businesses. For an example, we had 2 ladies in the northwestern quadrant of the state who were growing vegetables, selling them at a farmer's market, but they also had this recipe for a ranch dip. It was a recipe that had been passed down, you know, from generation to generation. They had tweaked it. They set it there so people could try their vegetables with their dip. They weren't selling the dip, they would just put it there and they could try their vegetables, and then it was a way to kind of sell their vegetables. They ended up marketing their dip and letting the farmers market side of it go. Started a business, some of you may know them as Thunderbird Ranch. They market all over the United States. They're a huge company. They're a nice little company, but huge in the aspect that from where they came from, a little bowl of dip at a farmer's market, you know, really great things could come from it. The agricultural prototype and technology grants and the technical assistance grants, if you have companies that need assistance, technical assistance, we're here, we can come in and help. And the one we're here to talk to you today about is the nature-based agritourism grant. It is a grant that was added in the last legislative session, and it follows the same criteria as all our other grants. You know, the probability of job creation, the scientific merit, probability of rapid commercialization, shared commitment. Basically, you know, all of the things that, you know, the other grants are judged on. We judge the nature-based agritourism grant. And we'll talk more about it. All grants are scored and ranked, and what we call an Olympic average is given to them. The highest and lowest scores are thrown out, and you compete with everybody else that day. I will tell you, it is a limited fund. This year we have about $3 million to give away. Generally, in any given year or biennium, every 2 years, you know, we have about $300,000 to give away once a quarter, and we can get anywhere between $500,000 and $1.5 million in requests. So it's a very competitive program, and so what we do to kind of help you through that process is we come out, we meet with you, we help you present the best application you can, so everybody's kind of on the same footing. Projects are judged. All projects are judged on the creation of wealth, the credibility and merit, the timeliness, matching funds, geographical consideration, and that's one of the things. If you are rural, you know, if you're rural, you get extra points because we are an agricultural program. The merit, and you know, basically you have 100 points total that you can achieve. The nature-based agritourism grant, what I'm here to talk briefly about today, is to bring people to rural Dakota to engage in recreational sport, educational, and labor-assisted self-harvesting. So basically what we're saying is it needs to be connected to the land. Trail rides and U-pick operations, gardens, you know, we've had a variety of different projects. One of the things Holly had mentioned, you know, there really isn't a lot of fruit producers in the state. It's one of the areas we have seen some added growth or some new growth, and that is because of the wine industry, the winery industry. They have really kind of spurred some development in the fruit growing, specifically the rhubarb, some of the berries, but also we have given away a lot of dollars. APUC has given lots of dollars to grape producers, so vineyard guys across the state of North Dakota. And the reason we have done that is because it is not only just, you know, picking grapes and selling them that adds the value. We're seeing a lot of people that are turning their vineyards into a place where people can come, spend a day, visit, buy a bottle of wine, those sorts of things. It is becoming a huge business in the United States. It is a huge business in the United States. And it continues to grow, regional kind of things like that. And one of the things that we have seen is that specifically with the grape industry, people like to come, or not grape, but fruit kind of industry, they like to come and take something back that they remember of their childhood or growing up in North Dakota. And so the Juneberry jellies and the chokecherry jellies and the rhubarb wines and things like that are becoming more and more important to people in a big industry. And when I was an economic development director at Harvey, North Dakota, there's a lady there that runs Dakota Seasons, Susan Schwartz, and one of the things that I was amazing is, she got berries and chokecherries and all kinds of fruits and vegetables from around North Dakota, and lots of them came from the reservations. Specifically the Juneberries, there's apparently secret patches that people don't talk about very often, and they have these little places where they go and they pick these berries. And so the point really is that this is really becoming big business. We see this as kind of the future of tourism, that people want to come out and experience things. We have at North Dakota Department of Commerce, on a daily basis, people who want to come out, go through a vineyard, ride on a combine, go on a trail ride, help brand cattle, those sorts of agritourism activities. And we consider all of that agritourism. It is amazing the number of people. We had a big German contingency come in, and their number one request was to ride on a combine. That's all they wanted to do. They wanted to ride on a combine and actually get to participate in that harvesting of the crops. We sometimes forget that. We're here, we see it every day, we deal with it a lot. We don't realize how disconnected a lot of people have become to where their food is coming from. And so they want that, they want to be able to have that ability to go back to that kind of, to the roots where things are grown and be a part of that, feel a part of that. I mentioned this before, these are the eligible activities, just a few of them, but farm chores, hands-on chores, self-harvesting, hunting operation, fishing on applicant's land, bird watching, showers, corn mazes, a variety of those activities. We have made investments in all of those activities. One of the ones I need to be specific about, Cecily, in this region is the fishing operation. It only qualifies if it is specifically on the applicant's land. We don't help people start guide services and things like that, like for Devil's Lake. It has to be a lake that's on your land or something like that. Very specific to kind of end-use activities. People coming there for a specific purpose, staying on your farm to fish or hunt or things like that. Those are eligible uses. Funding is restricted to marketing and advertising only. It is the only grant that is this specific on what we pay for. We don't help you get into it. There is other grants that can help you with some of those things. The agritourism grant is specifically legislatively mandated that we can only help with marketing and advertising. We have changed the guidelines. These are the old guidelines, and I apologize, so I'm just going to go past them because they're not relevant anymore. You can apply up to $5,000 as an individual. We encourage applicants to look at their region, come in together. The more people you have on a grant application, the higher dollar amount you can apply for. Our goal when we started this agritourism grant was that people would promote a region or an area that with hunting operations and vineyards and a variety of different kinds of agritourism activities, that people could come and participate in more than just one specific activity. Applicants, this is basic stuff that goes with all of our grants, the first 15 applications for all grants, not just agritourism, all grants. We only set 15 applications once a quarter. And grants are divided in half, and you are required required to report on how you spent the dollars with invoices, receipts, things like that, and give us a final report. The whole kind of purpose of APUC, to kind of back up, was that we would fund projects, but we would also use final reports as a way for people to ask for that information. We provide them the final report, and they could learn from someone who did it before them. We get a lot of requests in our office for feasibility studies or business plans or something we funded that somebody else wants to go into, and that's our purpose. That's why we're here. But along with that, one of the things that you also have to realize is that your books are open to public record too, and so you know, you kind of have to go along with the same guidelines everybody else does. You know, one of the things we like to do is tell people about helpful hints. And the first helpful hint I will tell you is, no matter what program, if you're going to the Department of Commerce or the Department of Ag or wherever, one of the things we as a state agencies, I would say, is we wish people would come to us before they start the process. You know, it's helpful when people call and say, I have this project and I'm wondering if I qualify. You know, what sort of things can you pay? When can I apply for? What sort of things don't you pay for? When's it due? You know, things like that, because sometimes paperwork is a little overwhelming. We have one of the, we're proud to say, the smallest application process in the state of Dakota of all the programs. It is a pretty basic application. We ask for minimal information. But we do, I mean, as any agency, we do some paperwork to be provided. Contact commissioners and make, when you come in and make your presentation, understand that you need to leave your time for questions. And don't provide us, a lot of times people think the more material you provide to agencies, the better it is, because we like paperwork. I hear people say that all the time. You like paperwork, don't you? I hate it as bad as the next guy, and so we don't want you to overwhelm us with a bunch of information that isn't relevant. Keep to the relevant stuff and keep the application simple, easy to work best. All grants at APUC require matching funds, and so we don't. Some grants have specific matching funds, some grants don't. The nature-based agritourism does not have a specific amount you have to match with. No one can have more than one application open at a time, and as I said before, all records are open to the public, so we'll keep that in mind as we move forward. And the overall theme of APUC is value added, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we want to help you achieve. And so that kind of sums it up. I want it to be quick because I know it's towards the end of the day, and people are, have been getting a lot of information thrown at them. So that's my contact information. If you have any questions, I'll be here till the end. And the information that you passed out, my business card, is in there, as well as all my contact